the Lakhani Group Global, crafting the future of hospitality in venture capital.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Taradeep Kaur, but you can also call me Tara Kohli. I work as a business development analyst at TLG Global, and I'm happy to be your moderator for this session. Today's webinar is focused on European residency and citizenship by investment, specifically exploring two powerful options, Latvia residency by investment and Portugal citizenship by investment. It's important to understand how both of these golden visa options might suit your personal and professional goals. So today we are having Syed Ahmed Ezazi and Martin Hernandez and Misam Hussain as a speaker with us. So next slide, please. So as I said, I am Tarandeep Kaur, and you can call me TLG Global. So we are discussing about Latvia residency by investment and Portugal citizenship by investment. So as I said before, it's important to understand how both of these golden visa options and might suit your personal and professional goals. So as disclaimer has come, so before we begin, please note that this presentation is, go back to the previous slide, please. Martin, can you go on disclaimer, please? Martin. Thank you. Before we begin, please note that this presentation is prepared exclusively for stakeholders of LuxSmart Hospitality Investment. It is for informational purpose only and does not represent any of the offer to buy or sell securities, nor does it provide financial, legal, tax, or investment advice by L Hotels Latvia SIA or any of its advisors. This presentation contains statements that shall reflect the company's current perspective regarding its future operation and financial performance. Please refer to the full disclaimer visible on your screen for the complete legal and regulatory details. We encourage you to review it carefully. Please go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Mati, next slide, please. Thank you. So this is our first speaker, Misam Hussain. So let me now introduce our first speaker, which is we are pleased to welcome Mr. Misam Hussain with over 14 years of experience in business development. Misam specializing in the building strategic partnership and guiding clients through complex immigration journey. He brings in-depth knowledge of immigration policies, market insights, and a strong track record in enhancing the client service. So he will now walk us through the profiles of TLG Global. And thanks for coming, Misam. Over to you. Misam, you are on mute.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that I was on mute. So thank you so much, Tara. Thank you for the kind introduction. And thank you all for joining us today. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. And I'm thrilled to present this segment of webinar to introduce the TLG Global and our team. So talking about who we are, okay. So TLG Global is headquartered in Portugal with over 40 years of experience in real estate, hospitality, and immigration. We are currently managing 27 plus active projects with a track record of 1,000 golden visa application. The asset portfolio is 130 million euros and more than 300 investors. This is a big statement, but it reflects who we are. We are incredibly proud of our journey and the milestone we have achieved so far. Over to the next slide, please. So talking about our partners and brands. So yeah, so now let me take a moment to highlight a proud partnership and growing portfolio of the brands. One of our key cloud partners is Wyndham Hotels and Resort, commonly known as Ramada Worldwide. We are also grateful to our collaboration with NXM Accounting, who have been instrumental in our success. As you can see below, our brands span across the various sectors, from hospitality and construction to legal, supply chain, and technology. We are expanding every day, exploring new opportunities, and growing across industries. Our brands are thriving, and we are excited about the future as we continue to innovate and deliver excellence. To the next slide, please. Yeah. So here we, as you can see on your slides, on your screen, couple of pictures is the portfolio. So moving on to our portfolio, I would like to elaborate on a diverse range of projects we are currently working on. Our portfolio includes L Tower, L Office, L Student, L Hotel, which are part of the trademark collection by Wyndham. We also have Ramada Residency, Wyndham Garden, Wyndham Residency, and L Wellness, a resort we are developing dedicated to wellness and luxury. Together, this portfolio represents over 1,000 keys to be delivered by the end of the year, that is, Q4 2025. This is the collective efforts by our incredible team, and we are proud to bring a mix of construction and hospitality projects to Portugal this year. These projects are the testaments to our commitment to innovation and excellence in industry. The next slide, please. So in this slide, you can see the performance of our previous funds. So the on your screen you can see the fund which is C&B, which is commonly known as Class and Business. So finally, let's take a look at our fund performance. The Class and Business Fund is a regulated fund overseen by CMBM, the Securities Commission in Portugal. This is ultimate license a Portuguese company can hold, and we are privileged to have it for TLG Capital Sigoit. Currently, we manage a portfolio worth 105 million and 11 active projects. Our internal rate of return stand at an impressive 17.7 with an appreciation rate of 151%. This number reflects our commitment to delivering values to our investors. The Oasis Fund, I'm sorry, can we have go to the next slide, please? So there's another fund which is called the Oasis Fund. So Oasis Fund, if you can see in your screen, currently has 23 million euros, is invested in a smart hospitality projects with zero loan to value ratio. We are performing exceptionally well and exceeding investor expectations. So can we go to the next slide, please? On your screen, you can see the the graph of our both the funds. So just to conclude on that, now the question is, are you ready to take this next step? Shortly, we will present an exciting investment opportunities in Latvia as well as in Portugal, with a minimum investment of 100,000 for Latvia, and you'll gain an access to the stable economy and legal framework, as well as clear pathway to residency in Europe. Once this opportunity is launched, we'll be happy to provide an additional information you need. We look forward to welcoming you into the TLG Global family. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll hand over to Tara for the next segment. Thank you. I think you are on mute.
Thank you. So thank you, Misam. It was beautifully explained how TLG Global is and what we are and how we have come so far. So thank you so much. Let me introduce our next speaker, which is Mr. Martin Hernandez. He's a professional with expertise in commercial management, logistic consulting, real estate, and fund investments. So Martin has worked extensively in market analysis and asset marketing, especially within the European investment landscape. So today, Martin Hernandez, Business Development Analyst in TLG Global, he will be presenting Citizenship by Investment initiative. We can call it Platinum Smart Hospitality Fund. So thank you, Martin, for coming over, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tara. Thank you for for the beautiful presentation. And the introduction as well. Can you hear me, by the way? Am I audible?
Yes,
Just to make sure.
Can hear.
Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, let's go right into it. So let's talk a little bit about Platinum 1. Okay. I don't know if we can go to the next slide, please. So yeah, we can go ahead. So next slide as well, please. So Platinum 1 essentially is it's an investment fund that is regulated, as Misam said previously, by CMVM. CMVM is the regulatory entity in Portugal that regulates every aspect of real estate, but also financial products. Okay, so everything that has to do with the financial area, the real estate area, it's sort of like the SEC entity in the United States. So the Securities and Exchange Commission, CMVM, is sort of the parallel in Portugal, with an aggregated factor of real estate transactions as well. So Platinum 1 is an investment fund that is duly registered with
Martin,
CMVM.
can you come again with the last point, because it was no internet. It was like.
Oh, yeah, I see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so continuing. So like I was saying, the Platinum 1 fund is regulated by CMVM. So this is in accordance to what it is to be, it's legally bounded to do so. And in that way, we are, of course, a certified and regulated fund. So what is this investment fund for? So this investment fund is directed to any investor that is interested in investing in Portugal, for example, but more specifically for Golden Visa investors that are looking for a citizenship path in Europe. So how does this work? What we have here right now is an overview of the investment fund. So this is a closed-ended investment fund, meaning that there's a raised capital period, and after that, the fund will then operate within the areas that the structure have been defined. So these areas of investment of the fund include hospitality, include technology, includes education, but the main area, of course, is hospitality. We cannot, in this case, the investment fund cannot invest in real estate, neither directly nor indirectly. Okay, so this is regulated and mandated by CMVM. So what would happen in the past is that the citizenship path, the Golden Visa path, could be done directly through a real estate investment. That is no longer the case. Hence, why we are talking about this investment fund option. Okay, so regarding the overview that we are seeing right now. So this is a closed-ended investment fund. It has a target yield of 12%. There's only an annual management fee to consider. So there are no subscription fees. There are no other parallel or additional fees. The only fee that investors have to take into consideration is a 1.5% annual management fee that is deducted annually from essentially from the yield that is being produced based on the initial investment of each investor. There's a minimum 250,000 required investment. So we're talking about half of what it is required by law in Portugal to obtain a golden visa. In this case, it would be a temporary residency card for 5 years. So it's a 5-year program, and the investor will get, through this investment, a temporary residency card, which will be renewed twice during this 5-year process. So in the first year, or in the beginning of the process, after you submit your application, you get, after a while, after it is approved by the immigration agency called IMA, you will get your residency card, and then you have to renew it twice. So this is simplifying a little bit the timeline. I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but just to give a clear idea of what we're talking about. Why the 250,000? Well, the 250,000, even though it's half, we only require half, and this is for the preferred category, category A, because this is a way in which investors can diversify their portfolio. So diversifying in this case means that you can invest in Platinum One and you can invest in another fund, but you do have to make sure that the other fund that you're investing in is also eligible for golden visa purposes. Okay, so it's also eligible for residency by investment, and that is a little bit of the homework that investors have to do. Okay, so if you invest only 250,000, the other 250,000 can be divided in another fund or in other two funds, as long as the total amount is 500,000 and all the investment funds are eligible for golden visa. Besides from this option, the investors can, of course, invest the full amount, the full 500,000 in category A or in category B. We're skipping a little bit ahead, but they can invest the full 500,000, and that way they can make sure they are assured that they're investing in an eligible golden visa fund, and that way it is assured. We can go just a little bit back. Sorry. The previous slide has a lot of information that we need to deconstruct a little bit. So just the previous slide, please. The previous one. In a bit. So, no, it was correct. The previous one, please. Yeah. No.
Slide number.
We're having some technical difficulties. I can see that, but essentially what I wanted
13,
to speak here is that there's an 11-year life cycle of the fund. The first 9 years are what is called the investment cycle, and the last 2 years are the divestment cycle. Okay, so the divestment cycle essentially is the period of time in which the fund is essentially concluding its investment operations, and will be divestment all of its positions, be that in the operations that it has invested, the hospitality operations, be that returning the investments that the investors have in the fund. So this is the divestment period. So this will be 2 years. And during the first 9 years, investors can expect in category A, which is the slide that we were seeing in previously, in category A, the returning investment, which is always the important part for investors, in this preferred category A, there's an ROI of 2.89%. Okay, so 2.89% on the investment amount that they have invested in. So if we're talking about 500,000, it's 2.89 on the 500,000. If we're talking about 250,000, well, it's 2.89 on those 250,000. So it's relative to the investment that has been made. Okay, so regarding this return on investment, there are two options that can be that investors can proceed with. So because these are annual return on investment, so annual dividends, if you will, you can either withdraw those dividends, okay, or you can maintain those dividends within the fund. If you maintain those dividends, you will create a compounded effect, meaning that you will accumulate the second year the return on investment over the already accumulated gains on the first year. So this will create a compounded effect that will at the end of these 9 or 11 years that you choose, will create a larger investment amount. However, if liquidity is one of your priorities as an investor, then you can also withdraw your money each year. Just take into account that in the long term, the full return on investment will be to a lesser degree. Okay, so having said that, the last 2 years you have a return. The investors in category A, I don't know if we can go back to the previous slide, but investors in category A can expect in the last 2 years, the divestment period, like I mentioned, can expect a 7% return investment, so a 7% yield. So this is a way in which the fund is rewarding the long-term investors in the funds. Okay, so we're talking about 7%. The 2.89, it's a fixed return investment, and the 7% in the last 2 years are also fixed. So this means that this is a fixed amount every year. So the last 2 years, it's a 7%. You can expect at the end, if you maintain your money during all of the life cycle of the fund, you can expect between 100 to 200,000 euros just from the return investment generated. Okay, so that is the information that you have to keep in mind if you are an investor looking to invest in the category A, preferred category for the Golden Visa. Now, going over the other categories, we have category B. Category B is also directed to investors. Okay, this has a minimum investment amount of 100,000. Okay, however, this is not a preferred category, and it does not have a fixed return on investment. Okay, so this is very important. These dividends are subject to the performance of the fund. So the target yield that we mentioned before, the 12% that we're targeting, and that we're confident that we'll achieve that number, that is a variable number. Okay, so this is something that you always have to take into consideration as an investor. So the target is there. The fund has all the tools to perform at that level, but it can also not quite reach that level. So this is something that you have to also keep in mind. Now, dividends for category B only are distributed after category A, again, which has fixed return investment, are distributed. So first category A, and then the dividends are for category B. Okay. Moving along here to category C, this is the advisor category. Okay, so these are for partners. Okay, so these are for partners that are considering or that are already working with us. Instead of, for example, receiving a full commission, a nominal full commission, they can obtain the commission through investing in the fund in this specific category, and the dividends in this category are after category B. So there's an order on how the dividends are distributed, depending on which category the investors are. And then there's category D, which is the Laccani family category. So this is the personal stake that the Laccani family has in the fund. And this is a way in which TLG assures that there is, from their own money, a stake in the fund. So this is a show of confidence in the way in which the fund can and will perform from the in this case the board. Okay, so moving along here, please. Let's continue. So this is the structure of the fund. Okay, so we already talked about the categories of the fund. Please, if you're seeing this at a later time, if you have any questions, please send us a comment or send us a message through our LinkedIn page. But we are here to answer any questions that you have regarding categories, regarding the structure, regarding the funds. So I know this is complex information to assimilate, and the easiest way is to watch this carefully. Now, regarding the structure, Platinum 1, as you can see there in the middle, is the fund. So unit holders are the investors. Okay, they can, for example, use the services by a company that's called International Investment Services, IIS. This is a company that can provide the services at no cost to the investors, and these our colleagues here will help you or help the investor through the application and submission process. Okay. Now, after the investors invest through a depository bank, in this case, Bison Bank, as you can see there, they invest through the depository bank into the fund. And the fund, as you can see, will invest in different areas of investment, like I told you before. So the main area of investment is hospitality, specifically smart hospitality. So smart hospitality is the next the revolution in terms of hospitality. We're talking about seizing on what is the technological trends of today. We're talking about AI. We're talking about robotics. So not only making the whole process of hospitality more adaptable, more personalized, but also faster and more efficient. Then, associated with smart hospitality, of course, there has to be technology, and then also education. So education is a big and important part that the fund will be investing in. We're talking about investing in future professionals that will also work in the hospitality operations of the hotels here in Portugal and Latvia and in other operations that we might have in Europe, for example. So these are the main areas of investment. Okay. Now, as you can see there, you have external auditors called Oliveira Reis and Associados. This is a very well-known law firm that has a lot of experience auditing these kind of investment funds, and we are, of course, are regulated by CMVM. Now, next slide, please. So, like I was saying, the golden visa process here might seem tricky, might seem a little bit complex, but we're here to simplify it. Okay, so there's nothing really complex about this. This is just a step-by-step process. Okay, so we're talking about in the beginning, you have to make sure that you have all the documentation that is required in order to correctly submit. Okay, we're talking about creating the Portuguese tax number. Okay, creating a bank account, and then transferring the funds. Okay, we're talking about, in this case, if you want to invest a full 500,000 in order to be immediately eligible, only through Platinum One, that would be the amount they have to transfer. Otherwise, you can divide your investments, like we just told you, half here and half in another fund, for example. But essentially, the process is the same. After that, you will get, of course, there might be some period in which you will wait between submission and actually getting your residency card. In full disclosure, there has been some, backlog in the last couple of months, although it has been gotten a lot better. So there might be a longer waiting time than usual, but after you obtain your residency card, you will then have to renew it twice. Okay, so that's the step number 3. That's the first renewal, and then step number 4, the second renewal. This should be in around the 3rd year, and then you will at the end of the 5th year, you have 2 options. So the first option you can choose is to apply for permanent residency. That way, you are a permanent resident of Portugal, that you don't have to keep renewing your temporary residency card. That's it. That's your that's the definitive document that you have in order to be an official, full-fledged resident in Portugal. Or you can choose to then opt for the citizenship path, so actually obtaining the passport. That will take around a year after this 5-year process, and then you will successfully obtain the passport. So this is essentially the step-by-step process that you can expect in the Golden Visa program in Portugal. Regarding eligibility, if you're the main applicant, you can also bring along your family. Okay, we know family matters. We know that people that or investors that are looking for these kind of programs, they're looking for a better future, a brighter future, secure in the future. So we're talking about usually having family members also eligible. And not only is your spouse eligible for, but also your children and also immediate family, for example, parents, parents-in-law, and grandparents. In these latter cases, parents, parents-in-law, and grandparents, we do have to make a small disclosure, and sometimes it might be required to present financial proof in order to make sure that that this is a correctly eligible, that these are correct family members that are being eligible for these investments. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the documentation, a quick summary. Essentially, we're talking about the KYC process. The KYC essentially means what you can see here. So your personal identification, passport, proof of address, and then the tax number. Okay, so you do have to create a tax number, and these are essentially the three documents that you need in the beginning. Then after that, you do have to sign the management regulations. Why? This is very important because this is the piece of paper that you will, or in this case, with help, for example, from IIS, you will present to the immigration agency, proving that you have effectively made an investment in an investment fund that is eligible for these purposes. So this is the document that will provide that proof. After signing this, of course, there are some other documentation, for example, proof of employment. You have to sign the management rules, and there are other documents that can be expected depending on where you're from. Next document, please. So we're talking here about investments and savings. So like I told you before, there is some differences between the return on investment. In this case, we're talking about category A, the preferred category, return on investment amounts. Okay, so for example, in the first case that you can see here, if you invest during the minimum tenure, that is 10 years, you can expect around 100,000 euros of return on investment. This is a very, very interesting option for people that are not only looking for to obtain a residency card and eventually passport, a European passport, but are also looking to take care of their financial future. So we're talking about a very interesting option here. But like we told you, their life cycle has the investment and divestment period, and the divestment period, which are the last 2 years, do have a 7% fixed return investment. So that's why you do see a pretty big difference between if you maintain your investment for 7 years and if you do it for the 11 years. The 11 years, the full life cycle will provide you almost double what you can expect, for example, if you just keep it for 7 years. And this way, as a lot of investors say, patience is key, and the 11 years do deliver a very interesting and handsome return on investments. Now, talking about savings, so we're talking about a subscription fee here. There's no subscription fee, as like I told you. The only thing that you have to consider is the initial management investment fee, which is 1.5%, the only one. And also, because you have to come here to Portugal, there are some additional requirements. Okay, so we're talking about for each year of the 5-year process of this golden visa program, you do have to come to Portugal 7 days per year. Now, the good thing is that you can distribute this in the following way. The first 2 years, which would be a total of 14 days, you can either choose here altogether. For example, if you cannot come here to Portugal in the first year of your process, you can choose the second year, and you can choose to spend your 2 weeks of vacation, for example. That's perfectly fine in one of our hospitality assets. at no cost to you. Okay, the other 3 years you can also spend in one of the other 3 years. Okay, you don't have to. You can divide it. You can spend 7 days per year, or you can choose, for example, 21 days in the 5th year, for example. And those are also accounted for, and you will not have to pay staying in one of the hospitality assets that the fund is investing in. So this is something that you seriously have to consider, because these are serious investments. We're talking about between 10 to 20,000 euros just in those two main aspects. So it's subscription and the stay. The stay, you have to come here to Portugal anyway, so might as well not pay for that and stay in one of these hospitality assets as well. So let's see our last slide. I don't know if it's the last, but the next slide, please. That was the last slide.
That was the last slide.
My part, I'm sorry if it's too long. It is a lot of information, and I wanted to deliver it in a concise but very informative way. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach us. We are always at your disposal in order to accommodate any questions that you may have. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martin. Yes, it is actually, and you explained it very, very beautifully in detail. And I want to say, everybody, Citizenship by investment for Portugal, investment in fund. And now we will move to the next one. As we can see on the screen, business development manager from the TLG Global, Syed Ahmed Hezazi. Let me introduce for him. Syed has been part of the immigration industry since 2017 and has handled various programs related to citizenship and residency by investment across the globe. So since 2020, he has actively contributed to the Portugal Golden Visa space. But today, I want to ask him to represent our Latvia program, which is Residency by Investment. So today, he will walk us through our Residency by Investment program, known as Luxgene, Smart Hospitality Investment. Thanks, Syed, for attending the webinar. Hand over to you.
Thank you, Tara, for that kind introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are thrilled to have you here today. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Great. So today we are talking about Luxgene, an innovative investment program brought to you by TLG Global, geared specifically towards those seeking smart, secure, and affordable pathways to European residency. So what is Luxgene? I mean, this is our project in Latvia. I'll come to Latvia, but I just want to brief you about what is Luxgene. So, well, Luxgene is more than an investment. It is a concept centered around smart hospitality, as Martin explained earlier. We are developing this actively in Portugal and now expanding in Latvia with the same philosophy: luxury, technology, and elevated experience. We already have 2 or 3 Lux projects to open this year in 2025. And now we are excited to bring the same version to Latvia through L Hotels Latvia. Next slide, please. A brief thing about Latvia. Why Latvia? So in terms of immigration perspective, we need to understand Latvia is a part of Schengen country. It is one of the 29 Schengen countries. It's part of European Union. And it's a great country to live in, with great standard of living, quality of life, lots of educational institutes here. It's a great infrastructure. You have favorable tax and fiscal regimes here, with the political and social stability is not a concern at this place, and it is always in the top 10 passports of the world. You have access to more than 180 plus countries if you are a passport holder of Latvia. That's immigration wise. When it comes to historical importance of Latvia as a residency program, Latvia had a thriving residency program back in 2013 and 14, and with up to 5,000 applications annually. That changed when real estate requirement went to 250,000 euros. So let me tell you, there are multiple ways to get Latvian residency as we speak. One of the route is the real estate route of investment of 250,000 euros to be invested into Latvian real estate. The other option is 280,000 investment into the government banks of Latvia. And we also have an investment of 50,000 euros as an equity capital to be invested in legal Latvian entities. What we bring right now, our structure is different. So we are using share capital investment route, of course, allowed by the law, of course. And we have gone above and beyond by investing nearly 12 million euros into El Hotel Latvia to meet the legal criteria. And there are 3 legal criteria to it. One, we have to have 50 Latvian employees. Our turnover should be more than 50 million euros and 100,000 in annual taxes. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, these are the 3 prerequisites to qualify for the golden visa of Latvia. Where we come from is that we are a legal establishment in Latvia. We have a legitimate business activity, and we have more than 60 employees working with us right now. Our social capital injected in the project is more than it's around 12 million, if I 11.9 specifically, and we are committed to pay 100,000 tax per year, of course. Can we go to the next slide, please? What are the terms of investment? So let's come to the terms. The minimum investment required is 100,000 euros that you need to invest. On top of 100,000 euros, you need to pay 10,000 euros to the state budget. You can call it donation to the country. So total investment brings down to 110,000 euros. In terms of physical stay requirement, as such, there is no stay requirement, but the residency that is granted is valid for 5 years. But the residency card issued is valid for 1 year, which means the clients, the investors will have to travel to Latvia every year to renew their residency card. That is how it works here. If you ask me the journey to PR and passport, obviously it will take 9 to 10 years of time to be in Latvia and apply for permanent residency and passport. Is it a buyback guaranteed project? Yes. After 5 years of investment, you can exit the project if you wish to do so, and we write it in our investment agreement. What else here? Yeah, we also provide 7 days of complimentary stay in our hotels, which are in Latvia. So once the hotel is constructed, the investors are eligible to go there and stay there for complimentary 7 days. Okay, we have the structure slide right now. How does the structure works? So as you can see, El Hotels Latvia is the company that we are talking about. This is a hotel that we are going to construct here. TLG Global is the mother company, and you can see Wyndham Residences at the left. So how does this structure works? So first of all, let me tell you, security is everything for our investors. The project is backed by Wyndham Residences. It is a 23 million asset in Portugal, and this serves as a collateral to this project. So investors acquire 100,000 euros in shares in the same El Hotels. It is social cap. The company has already invested 11.9 million euros as social capital, injected social capital in this project, and your investment is very much protected. Even in the worst case scenarios, your funds are collateralized. So the structure is quite simple and very much in interest of the investors. Next slide, please. Documentation process is very simple. If you have an investor, you have to start with the passport and the address proof of the client, followed by KYC. to be fulfilled. There are 3 agreements that we need to proceed with. One is the reservation agreement, wherein the client wishes to proceed. The client pays us 10,000 euros as the reservation amount to block the shares in the hotel. And once, by the time we prepare the file, we go for the due diligence processes and everything, then the client goes for investment agreement to be fulfilled. Once the investment agreement is signed, the client remits 100,000 euros to our Latvian entity. And the third step would be that we compile all the documents of the client. If it requires to be notarized or attested, that needs to be done. And then there are 2 ways to submit it. One way is in-person submission. If the clients have a Schengen visa, they can travel Latvia and they can do in-person submissions in Latvia. And the timeline is very quick. Within 2 to 3 weeks of time, you are sorted with your residency if you do in-person submissions in Latvia. If you cannot go to Latvia and do submissions, then we will have to go through consulate submissions. So the respective consulates will accept the applications, and that process might take 2 to 3 months of time in total. So let me tell you, it is one of the cheapest and one of the quickest programs in the European world that we are into right now, with the least documentation, of course. Documentations are quite simple. You need bank statement, medical insurances, birth certificates, marriage certificates, police clearance certificates. These are very, very common documents to proceed for any residency program across the world. Next slide, please. How does the program cost and works, and what are the costs associated? As I mentioned earlier, the reservation has to be done by paying 10,000 euros to us initially. And once all the prerequisites are done, then the remaining 100,000 has to be remitted to the Latvian account. And since you have already paid 10,000 as a reservation amount, we refund you 10,000 euros back. I'm done with the slide. Next slide, please. Sorry. A quick comparison with the Latvian program to the rest of the residency program across Europe. So what we are trying to portray here is that there are a couple of countries. You can see Bulgaria, we have Portugal, we have Hungary, we have Malta, we have Greece versus Latvia. You can see Latvia is only 100,000 euros and the minimum ticket size is at least 250,000 euros, which we have in Hungary or in Greece. And Bulgaria is more than 500, Portugal is more than 500 these days. The flexibility to the program is very, very much inconvenient. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to be there most of the time. And family reunification is also very much possible. You can include your spouse, your children, below 18 years of age. And if you visit Latvia, you are sorted with your residency within 3 to 4 weeks. It's a guaranteed buyback option also. Your capital is also secured, that whatever you're investing, you get it back in the form of buyback guarantee. So I think this is one of the most suitable, one of the most cheapest, and one of the most quickest program with a great output, wherein you get a European residency, access to all the European nations in an expense of 110,000 US dollars. Trust me, this is one of the cheapest thing that I have come across in my life, whatever I have invested for 7-8 years in this industry. Next slide, please. Okay, now a couple of questions and answers. Other companies may. Sorry, are you trying to tell something?
Yeah, I will ask this questions too, so then anybody can answer. Thank you, Syed. It was beautifully explained, and the last slide was actually eye-opener for the attendees, how they can see there are different countries in Europe and they're getting or not. So it was, thank you so much for the Lux explanation. There are some questions which were asked in our previous webinar, and mostly asked questions by the investment B2B and B2C both. So as everybody know, we offer both B2B partnerships also and B2C direct to the clients also. So these questions were asked by them. First question is, other companies make big promises. How do I know your process really deliver approvals? So I would like to ask from do you want to answer this question, Sayed?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's be honest, there are many programs which lack transparency, structure, and real security. What makes Lux One different? So there are a couple of answers to that. So we have a very solid legal framework. We have real operational businesses. We have tangible collaterals. We have very, very transparent structures. And we have a buyback guarantee. And last but not the least, it is an unmatched speed. Residency is as good as within 3 weeks. We have approvals, we have history, we have delivered, and we know we are proud of what we build and confident it meets the needs of today's global investor, I believe. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much.
Tara, I just want to add on this.
Sure.
I hope am I audible?
Yeah, very much. Please carry on.
Yeah. So just to add on what MR has just mentioned about the collateral and the trust factor. So I can just say that it is fastest residency at the lowest cost with guarantee results. Unlike other countries and competitors, we deliver actual approvals, not just promises. So we are not just promising, we are delivering the results. TLG Global streamlined process ensured the quickest path to residency without compromising compliance or quality. So we are trying to build up a trust here. So we are doing what any company would do here when it comes to trust. Yeah, I hope that answers question.
Thank you, Misam, for additional answer. Actually, that mix of the both of the answers were correct, and I think it's solved their questions. So what makes your investment secure? Is there any exit guarantee we are giving?
Can I handle it?
I think we still have Martin. So Martin, do you want to answer that? Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, very much.
Yes.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Martin, you're very audible.
Connection is
yes.
Yes. So regarding the Platinum One program, after you've completed, for example, your process, the Golden Visa process, you should be looking at the option if the investor so chooses to exit their position. If they are, for example, a Category A investor, they can exit their position at nominal value. Okay. So a reacquiring of those options that previously previously held by the investor by, for example, either the Lakhani family category or even another company that can acquire those shares of the investment fund at nominal value, be that 250 or 500,000. And in this case, you're looking at a 7-year process in which you can then exit not only with the return investment that you've generated, but also with the nominal value of your initial investment. Regarding Latvia, like Misam and Siad already talked. In Latvia, it's because it's not a closed-ended fund like Platinum One. They can, after, for example, 5 years instead of, for example, 7, they can also exit their position in the company at nominal value. So those are the most secure ways in which you can exit your position, be that in the company, L Hotels Latvia, or in the investment fund. Your investment will be secured through an exit strategy.
Thank you so much. Would you like to add something, Misam?
I think MR had to add something. MR, do you want to add something in this?
Yeah. Just in terms of the Lux project, how does it make? We do have an investment agreement wherein it clearly the clause clearly states that we have a buyback guarantee to the investment that makes it even secure, and that's it that I wanted to mention. Nothing much in that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Matem. Thank you so much, Sayed. Thank you so much, Misam.
Tara, if you just allow me, I have a question for Martin. Martin, can you hear me?
To our team also, who is helping with our slides. Am I audible?
Yes, you're very much audible.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone who is attending, for the valuable session to understand from all of you. Everyone who has joined us today, big thanks to you. If you have any further questions or inquiries, you can feel free to reach us. There is a scan QR code for a meeting, and there is also a WhatsApp contact. So there is a phone number, website, email address, data room link. We have everything on this slide. You can take a screenshot of that, and if you already have joined the webinar, so you already will get, and you can also comment on the videos. Thank you so much for your time, and we will wait for your questions and inquiries. Have a great day ahead and stay connected. Goodbye, everyone. See you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye.
The Lakhani Group Global, crafting the future of hospitality in venture capital.